AI is pretty much everywhere you look these days, right? It's in our smartphones, in our hospitals. We're trusting it with our questions, our data, and sometimes even our big decisions. But here's the thing. What happens when that trust gets exploited? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden risks of artificial intelligence.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll explore these vulnerabilities by looking at three key areas. First, we'll see how attackers can go after the AI's core, the model itself. Then, we'll get into the weaknesses in the systems built around the AI. And finally, we'll look at the most unpredictable element of all, the dangers that pop up from how we humans actually interact with AI.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? As we weave AI deeper and deeper into the fabric of our lives, what are its blind spots? What are the vulnerabilities that we just aren't talking about enough? Well, that's what we're here to uncover.
Okay, first up, let's talk about attacks that go right for the jugular, the AI model itself. This is all about corrupting the AI's brain, its fundamental understanding of the world.
So these first few attacks, they really target the very essence of the AI. Yeah, we're not talking about hacking a server in the old school way. This is about fundamentally twisting or even stealing the intelligence that companies pour millions of dollars into building. All right, let's look at something called model inversion. Imagine an AI that was trained on, say, super sensitive medical records. This kind of attack is like using the AI's answers to work backward and piece together the original private patient data it learned from. It's a massive, massive privacy nightmare.
Then there's model theft. I love this analogy. It's basically like stealing a secret recipe. You can't just look at the recipe book, right? But if you can taste the final dish enough times and you ask all the right questions, you can eventually figure out all the ingredients and just make your own identical copy.
Next up, we've got membership inference. Imagine an attacker being able to walk up to an AI and ask, "Hey, was John Smith's sensitive financial record used to train you?" You see, just confirming that someone's data is in the system can be a huge violation of their privacy.
This brings us to data poisoning, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's like contaminating the well of knowledge the AI drinks from. An attacker can subtly feed it bad information, making it learn the wrong things. Or even worse, they can teach it a secret backdoor, a hidden trigger that makes the AI do something malicious, but only when the attacker decides to use it.
And the last type of direct attack we'll cover is on transfer learning. You can almost think of this one like a genetic vulnerability. A lot of companies don't build their AI from scratch. They build it on top of a big, popular public model. But if that public foundation has a hidden security flaw, guess what? Any AI built on top of it inherits that exact same weakness.
Okay, so even if you have a perfectly secure AI model, right? It doesn't exist in a bubble. It's connected to a whole ecosystem of other software, and that's where our next set of vulnerabilities are hiding. Flaws in the system and integration itself. So now we're shifting our focus. We're moving from the AI's brain to its body. All the digital plumbing that carries information to and from it. Because let's be real, even if the AI is totally secure, if the pipes carrying the data are leaky, you've still got a huge problem.
Think about AI supply chain attacks. It's kind of like a chef who's making this incredible meal, but one of their suppliers slipped them a poison ingredient without them knowing. If a developer builds their AI using a compromised open source tool, the final product is going to be tainted, and they might never even figure out why. Then you have something called insecure output handling. So if a user can somehow trick an AI into generating malicious code, and the application just passes that code along to another user's web browser without checking it, well, the AI has just become a tool for classic web hacking. This is actually a gateway for old-school attacks like cross-site scripting, where a hacker can basically make a website do things it's not supposed to do. And what about output integrity? This is your classic man-in-the-middle attack, but for the AI age. The AI gives you some perfectly sound financial advice, but an attacker intercepts it and flips a buy recommendation to a sell before it ever hits your screen. Now this one is particularly nasty, model denial of service. An attacker can craft a very specific, really complex question that forces the AI to use a massive amount of computing power. If you do this enough, you can crash the service for everybody else, or, and this is wild, run up a cloud computing bill for its owner that could literally be millions of dollars.
And as AI gets more and more powerful, it starts using plugins to interact with the real world, to check databases, browse the web, you name it. But here's the catch. Every single one of those plugins is another door into the system. And if that plugin is insecure, well, it just became a brand new unlocked entrance for attackers.
All right, for our final section, we're getting into what might be the most important and unpredictable piece of the puzzle, the human element. This is where technology smacks right into human behavior, creating a whole new class of risks.
Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to this interaction, right? It's not just about what the AI is capable of, but how we choose to use it, how we manage it, and this is a big one, how much we trust it without asking any questions.
A huge concern is sensitive information disclosure. So imagine this. You're just asking the AI a simple question, and in its eagerness to help you out, it accidentally spits out some super confidential data from its training set, or maybe even from another user's private conversation.
And then you've got the danger of what's called excessive agency. This is literally giving the AI the keys to the kingdom, the power to send emails, delete files, or run code, all without a human in the loop to say yes or no. A single mistake or a single malicious prompt could be absolutely catastrophic.
But maybe the sneakiest risk of all is over-reliance. And honestly, this one's on us. It's when we start to blindly trust whatever the AI spits out. We stop double-checking its work, and we start accepting its hallucinations. Its completely made-up, factually incorrect statements as the truth. And that can lead to some truly disastrous decisions.
And that really brings us to what might be the golden rule for our future with AI. Trust, but verify.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap. We've basically looked at the three faces of AI risk. You've got the direct attacks against the model's brain, you've got the exploits of the systems it's connected to, and then you have the dangers that emerge from our own interaction with it.
Which leaves us with one last really big question. We all know AI's power is growing exponentially, but is our ability to manage its risks keeping pace? Because in this massive race to build smarter and smarter machines, making sure they're safe, well, that might just be the most intelligent move we can make.